one of the great nicknames in Negro Leagues baseball history, and there were some great nicknames belong to one of the three women who called the Negro Leagues home. My dear friend, the late, great Mamie Peanut Johnson.
My love for you.
And she was a pitcher in the Negro Leagues with a strong right arm. She earned that nickname when the Monarchs' leadoff hitter looked out and said, "How you expect to get anybody out? You ain't no bigger than a peanut." She was only 5'3", and she promptly struck him out.
You're out.
And she was Peanut from that day on. Born in 1935 in Ridgeway, South Carolina, Mamie Peanut Johnson had always loved the game of baseball. Fish Tyson, who had seen Mamie own the sandlots there in South Carolina, who thought that she had a little extra something, and he encouraged her to give it a chance to try to play pro baseball. And so she took him up on this and ultimately landed a tryout with the Indianapolis Clowns, the same Indianapolis Clowns team that the legendary Henry Aaron began his career. And of course, by that time, the Clowns had already hired Toni Stone, the first female to play regularly in a male professional baseball league there with the Indianapolis Clowns. And Mamie makes the team, and history would be made, becoming the first female pitcher in professional baseball.
Try it again. Pitch misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Peanut Johnson gets the K and escapes with the lead intact.
Sticky tape is a ball. Anything to play baseball.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 1 away against adult men, and she was just 16 years old. Strike 3, and that's 2 in a row. Right back to her on the mound. Handles, throws to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. This one in the air, right field. And he misses it. It drops in. Now he'll turn for second. Caught him looking for the K.
Me being the only woman pitcher out there, hey, that made me know that you are better in this than a whole lot of other people.
Yeah.
Mamie Johnson was a deceptively hard-throwing pitcher. I think that's what surprised a lot of the fellas, because you see this woman and you don't think that she can get it up there, and she got it up there in a hurry. But she also had a great repertoire of pitches, including, along with that fastball, a slider, circle change, and she'd even break off a screwball every now and then. And of course, she learned her curveball from the legendary Leroy Satchel Paige. She posted an incredible 33-8 record over her tenure with the Indianapolis Clowns. I know it's eye-raising, but it's true. And she would often talk about also earning the respect of the fellas. They didn't treat her like a woman playing on the team with them. They treated her like a ball player. And that was, for her, a tremendous badge of honor that went along with a tremendous record that she was able to post while playing in the Negro Leagues.
When Peanut joined the Clowns for her first training camp, she proved herself by winning her first game. She said, "I knew and my teammates knew that I belonged." Hard hit into the gap, should bring in 2. 1 run across, another comes in to score. It's 6-0, a 2-run double.
People wanted to see Mamie Peanut Johnson take the mound. The word had started to spread about this tiny woman who was throwing this blazing fastball and getting these guys out. And so people wanted to naturally see this kind of phenomenon. She drew a huge fan base. Now, was the Clowns motivated by that? Of course they were. It certainly had a marketing slant to it. But what in business doesn't have a marketing slant? But it doesn't diminish the women's ability. Not only was Mamie Johnson a standout pitcher, she was an outstanding utility player. She would oftentimes fill in at second base. She could field her position. Obviously, she had a great arm at that position because she was already pitching. And of course, she could hit. The records kind of reflect somewhere between 260 and 285 over her playing career, which made her more than just a novelty. It made her a ball player.
Johnson's faced in this one. Comebacker to the mound, Peanut Fields. Throws to first in time. Out number 3, and the Clowns escape the jam. And she did that for the rest of her life. Got him swinging. Swing and a high fly ball left field. Ball game. Peanut Johnson slams the door for Indianapolis.
If you're familiar with the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, that was the league that was the inspiration for the hit film A League of Their Own. Mamie was denied an opportunity to try out because of the color of her skin and the belief that black did not represent beauty. But as fate would have it, she would get an even better opportunity to compete with and against the men in the Negro Leagues with the Indianapolis Clowns. But if you ever saw that film, you might recall one scene near the end of the film where the ball kind of gets loose when they're practicing and this black lady is walking by and she picks it up and she fires it back in and everybody's astounded at how hard she threw the ball. Well, the late, great Penny Marshall directed that film. That was her tribute to Mamie Peanut Johnson.
Baseball gave me a sense of responsibility. I learned to be somebody.
Mamie Peanut Johnson epitomizes the kind of athlete that called the Negro Leagues home. You see, there's been this misnomer that these athletes were vagabonds, tramps, hobos, illiterate. That's not true. Mamie Peanut Johnson studied at NYU, and Mamie Peanut Johnson would have a 3-decade-long career in nursing, helping others, taking care of others. That is what made Mamie Johnson not just a standout baseball player, but a standout human being. That is why her story is such a powerful, prominent story that we are proud to share at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
They really held her in high regard.
Got him swinging. One out in the top of the first. It also educated them on the history of the Negro Leagues and encouraged good schoolwork. Struck him out, and Peanut looking very sharp to start this game.